welcome to our webcast Wednesday, a part of our SADD Super Safe Summer Series. I am Michelle Klima. I am the SADD State Coordinator in Arizona. And I am pleased to introduce our special guest today, Health Aijian from Waymo, an autonomous vehicle technology company. So Heather, thank you so much for coming to talk to us today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
So to get started, can you tell us what you do at Waymo?
Yeah, I am the Public Affairs Manager at Waymo, and I work with the community both locally and nationally to help educate people on the ways that self-driving technology could impact their lives and the world around them. So I help run Waymo's public education campaign, Let's Talk Self-Driving, which brings together safety and mobility groups that have that shared belief that fully self-driving technology could save lives, improve independence, and create new mobility options. For over a year now, we've been working with SADD on educating teens about road safety and Waymo's vision for a better future. So I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
My name is Heather. I'm from Colorado, State Coordinator in Colorado for SADD. Can you tell us a little bit more about Waymo and how it got started?
Absolutely. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Waymo, Waymo is a self-driving technology company that is working to build the world's most experienced driver. What's unique about Waymo is that we wouldn't be here today unless Google posed a question over 10 years ago of whether technology could be used to address road safety and lower the number of fatalities that we experience on our roads today. And that same mission really is what drives us today. So as I mentioned, we started as the Google Self-Driving Car Project in 2009. And then in 2016, we became our own company called Waymo. We've really made great strides since then. We've driven over 20 million miles on public roads across 25 different cities in the US.
Wow.
Hi, Heather. I'm Joey Burke. I'm the state coordinator for SADD in Wyoming. And I'm curious, how do your cars actually work?
Great question. So Waymo's self-driving system includes a hardware and software suite. We use cameras, radar, and LiDAR that we blend together with our software in-house to seamlessly understand the world around it. So like any human driver, our cars need to have a really good understanding of where they are in the world. So what we do is we create a really detailed map, a 3D map of the world around us, not like a navigation system that you would use in your car, but something that measures curb heights and understands how far the buildings are from the streets. So we ask ourselves 4 questions when we're on the road. And those 4 questions that our car asks are, where am I? What's around me? What will happen next? And what should I do? So where am I? Like I said, we create those custom maps in-house that really have detailed profiles of every object on the road and its surroundings. What's around me? That's live. Our sensors can pick up what is around the vehicle and whether that's a stationary or a moving object. So pedestrians, cyclists, road workers, construction cones, and it can tell what direction each of those objects is facing and the speed at which they're moving. So then what happens next is the third question our car asks itself when it's on the road, and that is asking all those objects that I just identified, what are they going to do next? What direction and what speed will they be going? And then that last question is, what should I do? So knowing all this information about what's around me, being able to see in 360 degrees, hundreds of objects at once, what is the safest and best next decision for me to make? And that's how our cars operate on the road.
Wow, Heather, that's really cool. It sounds like some questions that we should be asking ourselves every day. I'm Kevin from California, and I was wondering, what are some of the potential benefits of fully self-driving cars?
Great question. So, there are so many potential benefits, but since we are limited with time, I'll hit on 2 of the big things that we focus on at Waymo. The first that I mentioned prior is safety. An average of 40,000 people die every year on our roads. And that number just hasn't gone down. Over the past couple decades, cars themselves have become safer and healthcare has become better, but we're still seeing about 40,000 people die every year. And we do think that needs to change. What's also interesting is the Governor's Highway Safety Association released a report this year saying that pedestrian deaths are the highest that they've been in over 30 years. And so at Waymo, we're not just trying to improve road safety for the person inside the vehicle, but we also want to make the road safer for everyone who's around it, including pedestrians and cyclists. So that's something that's really important to us as well, and we see a lot of potential. And then that next benefit is improving mobility and independence for people who can't drive. Over 1 billion people in the world have some type of disability. That's 15% of the entire population. And that number is only expected to rise as we continue to age and live longer. So at Waymo, we work really closely with groups like Foundation for Senior Living and Foundation for Blind Children to elevate that need for increased mobility, and then also get feedback on how we can better serve those communities and how they might use the technology. So I think, most of us can name at least 1 or 2 people who we know who can't drive, whether it's a grandparent who has had to give up their license because they got too old, or if we have a sibling who has a cognitive or physical disability and could really, appreciate that freedom and mobility to get around.
Heather, thank you for sharing. My name is Dylan, and I'm the Louisiana SADD State Coordinator. Just a quick question here. What's it like to get into a car with no one in it? Seems like that would be kind of scary. What's that like?
Yeah, so a lot of people expect that a self-driving car will be some exhilarating experience, but it's actually quite uneventful. I try to explain to people before they go in that it's basically like being in a car driven by your safest friend. So some people are even like, well, that was boring, but that's the goal. We want it to be a really boring, safe ride. In Arizona, we've had members of the public using our cars since 2016. So in Arizona, there are many people who are quite familiar with it. We have over 1,000 people who use our ride-hailing service. They are able to hail a ride through an app on their phone, pick them up and go where they want to go safely from point A to point B. And so after most people's first rides, they're very comfortable with the technology. And we've even seen some people are so comfortable that they've fallen asleep in the backseat. So we try to make it a nice experience for the rider in the car. There's a display screen that gives people enough feedback so that they understand what the car is seeing around them and why it's making the decisions it is.
So Heather, are you saying that people can ride in cars today?
Yeah, so we have had members of the public in Arizona. So if you live in Arizona, you can ride in our vehicles, but since 2016, and then in 2018, that's when we launched our commercial service. We are currently the only AV company that has a commercial service. And we've, had so many learnings from it, great feedback from people in Arizona who are just helping us make that service better and better for riders. One thing to note is that right now in Arizona, Waymo 1, you must be 18 or older to ride in the car alone. So we do have many kids who use the cars to go to soccer practice or whatnot, but they have to be with an adult, a parent or otherwise.
That's really cool. So you talked about your ride-hailing service in Arizona. Why did you guys choose the Phoenix area to launch that service?
Absolutely. So the Phoenix metro area is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States and has been for the past several years. It really provides some unique transportation needs and challenges. It's a place where the population relies heavily on car transportation rather than public transportation. It's a community where there is a large aging population, and so that's another really interesting challenge that I think we can help benefit. So, there are really widespread yet complex city streets, and of course, a lot of very sunny days, which is helpful as we start to develop our technology and invest in weather testing in some other cities.
Heather, Carrie again. You mentioned earlier about the Let's Talk Self-Driving public education campaign. I know SADD has been partnering with Waymo on this. Can you tell us a little bit more about these efforts, please?
Absolutely. So SADD has been an awesome part of our public education campaign for over a year now. For anyone who was at the conference in Scottsdale last summer, you might have seen a Waymo vehicle on site. And while this year's in-person event was canceled due to COVID, we found some really exciting ways to partner with SADD virtually. Waymo is proud to be this year's sponsor for the Safest Summer Ever campaign, educating teens about the 100 deadliest days on the road between Memorial Day and Labor Day. And we also just launched, which is very exciting, a remote lesson plan on road safety and AVs for high school students in partnership with SADD and Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So that can be found on the Let's Talk Self-Driving blog. It's a really awesome interactive curriculum that has videos and quizzes to test your self-driving IQ. So it's for free, and I encourage anyone to check it out during quarantine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Yeah, I think I'll definitely take a look at that Let's Talk blog. I'm wondering, you've talked about a lot of really great applications for self-driving technology. Is there anything else that self-driving technology can be used for?
Yeah, so at Waymo, I know I've talked mostly about how we move people, but another area of focus for us is delivery and trucking, so moving goods. We actually recently launched a service called Waymo Via, and that uses both our self-driving cars, the fleet of minivans, as well as autonomous semi-trucks to move goods in a safer way that we really think has a lot of potential to improve the trucking industry.
Hey Heather, so I'm Lauren, I'm from New York, and I gotta tell you, we're a little bit jealous of Michelle having your services out in Arizona. So when we're thinking about bringing things to like our metropolitan cities here on the East Coast, New York, Boston, places like that, that have like 4 seasons, like maybe some crazy winters, how would Waymo accommodate for that? Yeah,
so being able to tackle those more adverse weather environments is something that we are definitely investing in at Waymo. We've done it, as I mentioned, we've tested in over 25 cities, and a lot of that is to get that diverse weather experience. So we test for rain in Seattle, we test for dense fog in San Francisco, snow in Michigan, extreme heat in Death Valley, everyday extreme heat in Arizona, and then we also test for hurricane level winds and rains in Florida. So we've had some really awesome learnings on that front, and I think that will help us, get our technology to more people in a faster timeline, hopefully.
Heather, you've mentioned a lot about Waymo's partnership with SADD, which we're so thankful for that. But how can students stay in touch and learn more about Waymo's fully self-driving technology?
Awesome. Well, you can visit us either at waymo.com or letstalkselfdriving.com, where you'll find a lot of the work that we're doing with SADD. You can follow us on Twitter at selfdriving, and then keep an eye out for future communications coming from SADD about ways that we're going to be partnering together in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Heather, so much for taking time out of your day to come talk to us. It was really interesting, and I know I learned a lot about the self-driving cars and technology that is out there. So thanks for your time.
Of course, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. We're very grateful for you guys at Waymo and for the partnership. And to all of our students who are watching, definitely go check out their letstalksafedriving.com blog with that curriculum that Heather mentioned, and follow them along. And don't forget to follow your state's SADD social media pages and engage with us over there to be entered into the weekly giveaways. So thank you all for joining. Have a great day.
Bye.